Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1 minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen. Presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Oak Knoll, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City community for 59 years. Also brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by your local Ford dealers. Here's Rob Brooks.
Hard to believe, but here we go. The last week of regular season basketball. It is here for the 22-5 Hawkeye women's basketball team. Final home regular season game on Thursday. The Hawks and the Fighting Illini of Illinois. And then a trip to Madison to take on the Badgers on Sunday. But coming off a 3-0 week with big road victories, of course, at Nebraska and Purdue. And a pretty good victory yesterday, I would say, huh? Over number 6, Michigan, as the Hawks are now tied for second place in the Big Ten with the Wolverines, but certainly hold the tiebreaker, and we'll try to finish off the season in grand style with a couple more wins as the Hawkeyes rolling right along. And what a finish it was yesterday. And Kylie Feuerbach in the postgame show said that was as loud as she had heard Carver in her career. And that's saying something, because there have been some big-time games in her career. But the Hawkeyes make 9 of their last 9 from the floor. And in that fourth quarter, shot 10 of 14, 71.4%, 7 of 14, 50% in the third quarter. Got that offense rolling right along. And the star of the show has arrived, huh?
So the shows that have uniforms on.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, and my assistants, I tell you what, where's Abby Stamp?
She was just here.
There she is, right there, Abby Stamp. Longtime assistant, former Hawk state champion, a Big Ten champion, and she just does a heck of a job. So you want to talk about unsung heroes
and
or
a
the people
coaching champion, too.
8 of the men on that, 8 of the men. But thank you. And this crowd, oh, my gosh, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you so much for being there yesterday or watching. We do not ever take that for granted. And that 6th person, the loudness and the electricity you bring is incredible. And I just truly, I know I sound like a broken record, but we can't thank you all enough. It's sharing it with you guys, the ups and the downs. And there's a lot of people that have been here all the years that I've been here. And it just makes it so very special. So thank you for being here tonight. And that was a fun one yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Sure was.
And we talked before in the pregame show about how important that crowd was going to be on that day. You just had a little bit of a different feeling to it, didn't it?
Well, it sure does. And when you're going to upset teams like that, it takes a little extra juice from your team, from your staff, but certainly the fan base. And sometimes when you're playing really good teams, you get close, but you can't quite get over that hump. But I tell you what, we all meant business that first opening quarter. And I think Bailey Turner, our sports information director, said, well, it wasn't real pretty. He said, but, I think he also said we probably set a record for jump balls.
I think there was 7
unbelievable.
Halfway through the first quarter.
But the thing about it, I think with the energy, is you saw two teams really trying to battle and really were much more, have more success on the defensive end. We were both a little tight on the offensive end, but start to finish, I couldn't have been more proud of them.
Well, you always talk about boxing analogies and coming out swinging, and that was what you wanted in that first quarter. And that really, you're right, really set the tone for the rest of the ball game.
Yeah, I think in those kind of big-time matchups, anytime a superior team senses a little bit of a fear or a little hesitancy, it's tough sledding to get back into it. And you can typically do a little better job of coming out swinging when you're at home because you have a lot of people literally in your corner. So it's nice that we came out, and I know I just like the punch. And even when we were making some errors, we didn't handle that pressure right away at the beginning, their full court pressure. But as a coach, you can see there's a different look in their eyes. It's more they're a little excited. They're trying to force something that'll maybe help it. To kind of like a quick fix instead of pass, cut. We're trying to thread a needle. So that's different than leaning back on your heels with wide eyes. And I really like what we saw right from the get-go. So just a lot of great stuff. And
that fourth quarter outscored Michigan 20-9, as I mentioned. They made 9 of the last 9 field goals, did the Hawkeyes. And the things that really stick out in that quarter was the passing of Hannah Stuelke and Ava Hayden just slicing to the basket, almost a dead sprint sometimes, but that pass was right there where she could catch it and just lay it up, and great synergy, especially coming down the stretch when you really needed it.
Yeah, it was so funny. A lot of times when those games end up being a score like that, if you're just checking the scores and you didn't look at the game, if you're somewhere, you're living in Vegas and you're just checking the scores, you're like, man, Michigan got blitzed. But, I mean, the number doesn't tell the story. It was 6 points most of the game until it was 10. And then all of a sudden, with that, I think that run out is when everybody had a sigh of relief. When Hannah, we got some type of turnover, and we had a 1 pass and a 2 pass to Hannah, and I think that broke it right open. So we were just really pleased with that. And it was fun to be able to I don't know if you guys saw, but it was Abby that said, we got to get the seniors out. And we were running an inbounds play when you're going to get fouled, and we call it stack. And I looked at Hannah, and Journey was running up. I said, I have her coming in for you. She's like, I don't want to come out. Kind of looked at me with a panic, and I held Journey. And then when Hannah stood beside me, and she was waiting for the ball, and I said, hey, you have earned the right to tell me when you want to come out of this game. And then when we had a couple buckets, something happened with, I think it was a minute, then it just made sense. I could call a timeout. So it was we were blessed with how that really transpired, because it was fun to get those 2 out at the same time.
Yeah, it sure was. What they have meant to this program. And then Ava Hayden, more honors trickling her way this week. The Big Ten Player of the Week, averaged 24 points a game, 11.3 boards, 3.3 assists, 2.5 steals, and 1.6 block shots, just doing it offensively and defensively. And then also the Naismith National Player of the Week as well. That's a good start for a Monday, right?
That's a heck of a start for a Monday. Absolutely.
And well-deserved on top of that.
Yeah. Ava's really, really been coming, and we've been challenging her different, when I think I told you on the show a while back, when Taylor McCabe got hurt, just was visiting with her and just really encouraged her to lean into her leadership of voice. Typically bigs, post players, they don't always use their voice as much. Guards are kind of the quarterback. And for some reason, bigs are a little bit more quieter. And, I have a lot of unscientific studies, being a bigs coach most of my life. But usually the girls, when they've been taller so much, when they've been in kindergarten all the way up, they're trying to fit in. Sometimes they're kind of ducking a little bit. They're kind of making sure they don't stick out in any other way. And the cool thing about, recruiting them in high school, it's certainly different now than even it was 15 years ago. The female athlete is so much more highly regarded and celebrated, and young women can be exactly who they are in sport. And that is true of the taller players. But I've always thought that it takes a little while for them to get their voice. In Ava's case, she's very confident. She wasn't, this is the new era. She's coming in confident, very proud of being her size. But she just relied on the guards all the time. So I told her, if there's a time for you to use your voice, and you've earned the fact that you can be a leader. And we need you to not only talk, but I need you to be as consistent as you've ever been. And it was kind of cool. She really, I think, appreciated the permission, if you will, and the challenge. And I think that she's done a really good job with that. And I guess if you could read lips last night, she really took it kind of seriously. She was getting into it, and I would have never thought that. So I like when we're a little edgy like that.
Right.
I like it.
You say you got to have a little bit of that.
You have to. You really do. The great ones usually have a little bit of a edge to them.
When I think all the fights for the rebounds and the jump balls, the willingness to get on the floor for 40 minutes, that was a huge aspect of this game too, because then the opponent knows that, okay, here we go. Yep. This isn't going to slow down.
Yeah. I mean, this year we've kind of wanted to do, trying to separate ourselves, our staff. We want to continue chasing greatness, and, we've tasted a lot of great things, but you're constantly, every year is another challenge. But we kind of come up with, when I think of all the blue blood teams, the, women's basketball, Connecticut's and the Stanfords and the Tennessees way back with Pat Summitt, men's basketball, North Carolina, Duke, all the things. But we really wanted to kind of create a new, blue-collar blue blood. It takes years to become that blue blood. But no one really, no one's going to anoint us as a blue blood, right? You got to go out and earn it. And so we came up with a little tally of blue-collar plays. And the team has really enjoyed those. It's like a hustle play. And, it was Coach Damp that really pointed out a couple weeks ago, if we get them early and we get them earlier than the other team, that's really a little, another incentive. Because if you're kind of first to the punch, right? And yesterday, what did we get, Abby? One within a minute and 2 seconds or something? Yeah, so that was really fun, and I think they get kind of charged with that. But, Michigan had a lot of them, too, because they're pretty hard-nosed as well.
Yeah, we actually had a question earlier about what constitutes specifically a blue-collar play.
Well, it's anything when you're on the floor, right? You're scrapping for a ball, you're jumping, you're tying the ball up. But anything that is kind of a little extra effort to give you that one more possession. Maybe you're jumping out of bounds. Like at the end of the game, for example, Hannah Stalkey, she was jumping out of bounds, and she grabbed it with one hand, and she slammed it off the girl's foot. Yep. And it should have been a turnover. It was a bad pass for us. But Hannah just jumped up and saved it. That's a blue-collar play, because she could have been like, that's such a terrible pass, dropped her shoulders and like, why did you pass it to my hand, right? But she just was saving the day. Kylie had one of those. But like, even, Ava, she took a hand to the face and kind of crossed her over and gave her a little something on the way by. That's blue collar, right? It just is like anything that kind of is like, you're not caring about style points. She's not caring about being a Big Ten player of the week. She's not caring anything about an individual accomplishment at that moment. You're just caring about just being a blue-collar dog that's going to help your team be better than their team. And when we play like that, I think it's really fun, and it kind of gives you a little edge. And I personally think that most of America kind of relates to that. There's not a lot of us that live, really up in that, kingdom where you have all the servants and all the things,
fighting
right?
For everything,
you're always
right?
fighting, right? You're working hard, and you kind of identify with that. So that's what, I've always liked about our teams. I think we've done that over the years. This year we just try to put a little bit of a different descriptor on it.
Of course, Olivia Olson And Sila Swords, 2 outstanding scores for Michigan, and players that can really get it going. And Olsen, 6 of 16. Swords, 3 for 11. They combined for 13 and 7, respectively. What was really the key defensively to keep them way below their averages?
Well, we have an elite defender in Kylie Feuerbach, another elite defender in Hannah Stalkey, and we've added a pesky elite defender, even though she's not tall, in Chit Chat Wright. So Chit Chat had Swords and Kylie had Olsen, and they just tried to not let them get touches. And with defense, you always want to push them out about a foot farther than they're used to being. You want to make them have to kind of take an extra step to make the catch, and then because then they're feeling a little bit more uncomfortable. And if you cannot allow them to catch it and make them, it's called denial, and they have to cut back door, or they shallow cut for another player to receive the ball. That's definitely a win, because you're taking 2 or 3 seconds off of that shot clock when they're used to kind of catching it where they want to, making the read when they want to, and taking the shot how they want to. And in most cases yesterday, they didn't get to do any of those things because of Kylie and because of Chit Chat. And then we were able to have some great help defense. Hannah played stellar help defense. You kind of have to play numbers sometimes. If you have 2 outstanding scorers, you have to gamble sometimes. And we were sagging off their number 33, Del Fosse. She had a couple threes. She doesn't take that many, but you kind of have to live with it. I'd rather take our chances with her shooting threes than 12 or 1. So it was a great game plan put together by the coaches, and the team just really, really, I thought, knew it really well.
Yeah, it seemed like the on-ball defense was relentless, and then obviously knew the scouting report really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, and that's what we try to hit home with them. The more they know their scout, the easier the job becomes. And sometimes it's difficult because you have a lot of different assignments that you have to know. And by the way, you're also trying to know stats and trying to know engineering classes and write a paper for English, and then remember number 1 for this game, number 12, number 3, number 22, number 35. And within 48 hours, the most important players are 2, 8, 23, 35, 45, and 33 and 41 are the ones you can help off of. And you got to turn that over, boom. And so sometimes when you're in the stands watching, like, whoa, how is she so open? How they leave her so open? Well, you know what? It's only been 48 hours ago when number 12, wasn't that big of a deal. Today, she's a really big deal. So it's really quite remarkable when a team can process as well as they can and really excel as well as they can on the floor and do it in the classroom as well.
Well, of course, previous to the Michigan victory, you had to go to West Lafayette. Never easy to win on the road. And I got that one 83-74. Really good start, which you love to see on the road. And led 29-14 after 1. Purdue made a charge in the second half, but you did enough to get away with a victory.
Yeah, I think that's the
down a starter.
Yeah, we're down. We didn't play with Hannah, and that's always, she's such a presence. And you kind of get to this time of the year, and you can take two routes. You can critique it to death, and you can't believe you gave up the lead, and why did we look this way or that way? However, any win on the road is a good win, especially when you get to this time of the year. And when you're missing, a person as instrumental as Hannah. And, Purdue, they have big bodies, 6'7", 6'5", and 6'3". And that was kind of tough when we were missing, Hannah's athleticism. But we could have, would have, should have done a lot of things better. But I think the experience we got with the kids who were playing in minutes, they had to handle a run. And, I was a little nervous, but I didn't feel like we were going to lose. But it was still an intensity that we had to manage in timeouts, and we had to, get back to business. And I'm hopeful that that's going to serve us well when we get into maybe it's a situation Thursday night or next Sunday at Wisconsin, or when we get to the Big Ten tournament. If there's foul trouble or, whatever else happens, that experience that we got in the second half when it didn't go well, but they did enough to right the ship and did enough to get the right play at the right time that they can store that in their data and be like, okay, I've been here before. So that's the route we chose to go. We played pretty well in the first half. And Purdue's kind of interesting. Like, they beat Washington.
Right.
And then Illinois actually had a close game with them. I think they probably, I know when I was watching, it was 7-point, 8-point game. I don't know what they ended up winning by. So it just, sometimes fans just forget that everybody's a D1 athlete, and anybody on any night can happen. And unless you're the top teams, most of America roots for the underdog. And so it's just, you just got to manage it. And you wish you could be perfect every night, but as long as you get that win in the win column, that makes for a better flight home for sure.
And the numbers are really good. Shot almost 60% from the floor, and 9 of 19 from 3. Free throw shooting, you would like to see that a little bit better, but the first two really did some good things. 29 points in the first quarter and 22 in the second.
Yeah. Our offense was pretty decent. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. As great as our defense was yesterday, we just didn't handle the drives as well at Purdue. They run a little different actions than Michigan did. But sometimes a team, there wasn't as many just to identify. And sometimes that you could be like, well, that's probably better than 2 All-Americans, right? But sometimes you can get your focus so zoned in, like, okay, let's do number 1 and number 12 for Michigan, and everybody else has lesser role. With a team like Purdue, they're all kind of like, take your pick, right? You can't just say, okay, we got to stop 8, and if you stop 8 and you stop 3, we got a pretty good chance. And I think sometimes equal opportunity teams that are also, supposedly not as good, they're a little scary because you can't quite get it dialed up and zoned in as much.
And they had 4 players in double figures. Of course, the Hawks did too. Ava Hayden once again leading the way, 21 and 13. Another 20-plus point double-double. And then Taylor Stremel, 19 points in the first half, and 5 of 6 from 3. Kylie had 10, hit a couple of threes. And then Journey Houston with 16 points inserted into that starting lineup. Her first start, that's not an easy thing to do on the road in the Big Ten.
And I thought she managed her first start really, really well. There's some defensive things, and the press. We didn't handle their press very well. They do a different press than what Michigan did, and that was kind of on me. I was trying to work on a different press breaker, and I thought it would be a good time to practice it against Purdue. I like a couple other ones a little better, but I thought we might need this down the road. But I put us in some bad spots, and we had a lot of young kids that weren't quite as comfortable with the cuts, and we weren't as confident. So that was about the only thing I could really critique of Journey's game. But, again, I should have had us practice that a little bit more. And, we'll get that. I think we'll get that better before we face a team that does that type of press again.
And how big is Hannah against pressure defense, too, helping out in the backcourt? Yeah,
I think sometimes when you do see when a kid comes in, when they do the things they do, it's like, oh, yeah, that's why it might have been harder, right? You're like, well, you can critique the younger ones. Well, wow, Journey, she's fine. She can hit this. She can do that. But what they don't have is all that experience. And Hannah has the ability to handle the ball, and she's got kind of a swag about her. She's going to come at you. There's no hesitancy. Yesterday when we started to get our press breaker a little smoother, it's because Hannah just started taking care of business. And it's nice to have a 4 be able to do that, because a lot of 4s can't.
No doubt about it. A terrific week for the Hawkeyes, and if you want to get yourself involved in the conversation, we would love to hear from you. We've got some questions from the audience that we'll get to as well. The Twitter X account is @Iowa_Learfield or #HawkTalk. Facebook.com/HSP Learfield. The T-Mobile text line, now T-Mobile, 319-853-8344, 319-853-8344. You can also email your question at hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, of course, again this year, presented by Oak Knoll, as Oak Knoll's mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for the last 59 years. Oak Knoll is conveniently located near University of Iowa Healthcare, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, and downtown Iowa City. A proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Visit oakknoll.com to learn more. Don't forget, throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to all of Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org to learn how corn grows Iowa. We'll have more Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oaknall, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Our mission at Oaknall is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Despite the unshakable Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk rivalry, there is one thing Iowa State and University of Iowa fans can both agree on: getting hyped for Unleaded 88. It's cleaner burning and better for your engine, and it's cheaper than other fuel options, making Unleaded 88 the clear fuel choice. If Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk rivals can agree on it, you know it's worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, grown by Iowa corn farmers.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
RE/MAX is the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics, and we understand there's a number for everything: square footage, down payment, interest rates. But how do you measure the trust you have in your agent? For a RE/MAX agent, it's not about numbers on a contract. It's being a trusted RE/MAX agent. That means you'll get honest advice, expert guidance, and someone who's committed to your success. Because while numbers count, trust is what truly matters. RE/MAX, the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics. Each office independently owned and operated.
Well, Hawks back in the top 10 now. The AP poll came out today at number 9. And also the net ranking, which the NCAA Tournament Committee looks at heavily. Also in the top 10 at number 9 as well. So that's what big-time top 10 victories can do to you. And Hawkeyes look forward to getting a couple more victories this week with Illinois at home. 8 o'clock tip, and then the final regular season game of the season on Sunday as we flip the calendar to March. The Wisconsin Badgers, an improved Wisconsin Badger team, at 2 o'clock. We talked about Ava Hayden and some of her superlatives, and what a big-time job that Hannah Stalkey did yesterday as well, coming off a game that she had missed and had really on triple-double watch with 11 points, 12 boards. Boy, has she been rebounding. And then watching those 7 assists. And, boy, just outstanding passes the entire game. That high-low action you had to enjoy when that went well.
It really, yeah, that's key for us. You know,
that's as Coach Bluter would say, pretty basketball.
It is
right?
pretty basketball, beautiful basketball.
Yes.
And when we get that going, but it's everybody plays you a little differently. And that's the thing I think we're continue to be a work in progress. You know, we're younger than we're older. And, you know, you have to make the adjustments sometimes within the game, if they're sagging, if they're pressuring you, if they're allowing Hannah to catch it up high, they're playing behind Ava, they're playing in front of Ava, they're sagging off the corner. And so it's a lot to read. It can be simple when you look at it. But if we can keep getting a little better each game, I think it's amazing. But I think there's a lot of growth that we can look, we can look better and better. But we can also sometimes really struggle. And when we struggle, we're just kind of forgetting what we need to do when we need to do it. But you just got to keep repping it, right? Keep repping.
Well, Addie Deal knocked down a 3 at Purdue, did some really good things yesterday. Then Callie Levine came into the game, and won't forget that runner from the free throw line anytime soon.
Which was so fun, and she knew the clock awareness. And the funny thing is, and that's just kind of how sport is, or basketball is we're talking about her basket. She goes in for her defense because she's the one player that's on our bench that she's really good at understanding angles and knowing that if we got to get, you're trying to not let a kid touch it. She's pretty hard-nosed, and she understands that. But I'm very happy. We needed that bucket, and it was really fun because Callie works really, really hard, and we needed it. And she read it. She penetrated, didn't have it. She kicked it back out. Strimlo tried to make a move, and then there was 2 or 3 seconds left. It came back to Callie, and she did that beautiful runner. But, she played 3-4 minutes, and she got 1 for 1, which was awesome. But what she did defensively is she gave rest, and she knew exactly what needed to be done on Olsen as well.
And that goes back to what you preach. You have to be ready to go. If you're on that bench, you just never know when your number is going to be called.
You do, and I think that's the hardest part, especially at this point in the year, because the roles are pretty much, kind of now set. And, there's disappointment, and you want everybody to want a bigger role. You want them to start. You want all the things. But when you get to this point, you gotta stay ready. You just don't know about foul trouble. You don't know about intensities of the game, and that's one thing with Callie Levine. She is the consummate kid that's always ready. I'm really, really proud of her.
Well, Audrey sent us a picture of her and Jada. Jada's her favorite player, and of course one of the seniors that were honored after the game yesterday. And I know that's always kind of a bittersweet time, but you saw on the face, especially Hannah, just what it meant, and kind of the moment kind of hits you there, even though you've got more basketball to play inside the arena. But it's quote-unquote senior day, and you start to feel that emotionally.
Yeah, you do. And as a coach, you always kind of worry about that day because you love everybody so much, and the young women are so emotional, and they love everybody so much. And it's the nice thing when you can go into that game having some success, because there's hope that it won't be your last game. Even though, we started this a few years ago, is doing it on a weekend because, Taylor's people were coming from Omaha. Kylie's are coming from Sycamore, Illinois. If you do it at 9 o'clock on a Thursday, it's 9:30 by the time the game's over. It's hard for anybody to really, go out and celebrate when they have class. So we've just decided to do it mostly on Sundays. And so then they knew we had Thursday, but we're all hoping if we can continue to hold serve, it'd be sure nice to get those first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. So the thing I think you saw with that raw emotion is it means something. It means something to be an Iowa women's basketball player. The memories are real. The connections are lifelong. And, there's probably nothing that makes you more grateful than when you see a kid with that raw emotion. Because it's not always easy. There are a lot of tough times when you're losing or you can't get a play right, or, the team melding and team forming is incredibly challenging and difficult. But it is the most rewarding thing that you can be a part of. And I think sport is the one place that really is just the best microcosm of life. And what's fun about a team forming in sport, you might have a team at your bank, a team at the hospital, and when it's really rolling, you guys all know, when you can trust people and everybody is for everybody. But when you're on a team, there's just so much sacrificing that has to go on. And then you have the eyes of a nation also on you. And it's a beautiful thing when people sacrifice for the good of the group, and sometimes do it in spite of their circles. In spite of their, the people that are influencing the most. So when you get to a senior day and you see that type of satisfaction and pride. It makes all of those times when, as this coaching staff, you're like, whew, it makes it all worth it.
And it's probably not easy for some of the parents, too, that have been following the players all throughout their career and the ups and the downs, and I'm sure it hits them as well.
It does, and you get a quick hug from the parents, and, it's really rewarding because a lot of those parents, I've recruited some of them since 8th grade, right? And that would be like a case like a Caitlin Clark. But McCabe was I think a rising sophomore. Kylie was a sophomore, junior, a little bit more typical. But you just have a long relationship with a lot of these parents for sure.
We got a question here, too, Jan, from the audience about the contributions and the roles of the student managers and the important part that they play on road trips, home games, recruiting weekends, everything. Yeah,
they're extremely. They're instrumental. They're unsung heroes. They're on call 24/7. They're rebound when the young woman asks them to rebound. Our coaches will bring them in at unique hours to play defense, to pass. And they end up being really, really good friends with our team. They're definitely part of the team, and sometimes they end up marrying them. We've had a couple of those. So they're just great young men, and we interview them. We have a lot of competition for it, or I wouldn't say competition, interest. You can't take everybody, so we interview them, and they have to go through a process, and we'll recruit them. Because they are a part of our team, and they need to be upstanding guys. They need to understand that women rule. They need to understand that they might catch an elbow. They need to respect the fact that they might be playing, and they're gonna get they're gonna get blocked out pretty hard. And it's pretty cool, and they're great young guys. We also have Zola Gross, Mitch Gross, and Melanie. Mitch is a principal at West High, but his daughter. We also have a couple women too, and she does a great job. So yes, I love our managers. Yeah, we've heard about some of the intensity over the years of some of the practice. Scrimmages, huh? Yeah, they get a little. They do get a little feisty with the managers, and they get competitive. But I think the thing that with managers the most is we make our managers also referee. And do any of us like referees? No, we don't. But when a manager is trying to, call a play, and our players, when they call a foul, they let them have it, and we put the kibosh on that because. You can't act like that with the refs, right? And you certainly don't want to do with these guys that are giving you everything they got. So, yeah, I think that's the thing that I have to manage the most is when we make them be a manager, there's a lot of hot-headedness that comes out. All in good fun, though, right? Yeah, well, most of the time. Probably not. Say that jokingly, of course. Right. Well, Hawkeye Nation, here's something that you can cheer about. U.S. Cellular is now part of T-Mobile. Now you're on America's largest 5G network as the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. We're proud to bring a stronger network to every call, every post, every win, being better together. And if you have some time still to check in, if you have a question out there, Twitter at Iowa_Learfield or Hawk Talk, Facebook.com/HSP Learfield. And that aforementioned T-Mobile text line, 319-853-8344. Email is hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. The University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, also proud to be the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye women's basketball again this season, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Learn more at UIowaEnergyCollaborative.com. More Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen rolls along, presented by Oaknall. We are live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
March on over to Riverside Casino and Golf Resort March 26th for an unforgettable performance by country music star Tracy Lawrence. Get ready to hear iconic hits such as Paint Me a Birmingham and Time Marches On, as well as find out who your friends are and Texas Tornado. This is one country music experience you won't want to miss. Secure your tickets now for this must-see concert at riversidecasinoandresort.com or visit our gift shop. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Welcome back to the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency for Hawk Talk tonight with Jensen, as the Hawkeyes now in the top 10 in the country, getting ready for a border rival with Illinois on Thursday. Also here at the Hyatt Regency, wine flights have officially landed right here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. You can stop in and enjoy 3 expertly selected wines and choose from red, white, or bubbly. Perfect for a date night, girls' night out, or just because you're here. Wine flights start at just $16. We'll talk about the Illini and also touch on Wisconsin in a little bit as we'll get back to some questions here. Lacey in Illinois wants to congratulate Jan on an incredible victory yesterday. What a job by the black and gold, and also what Ava Hayden has brought to this team this year, and always loves to listen to the games on the radio and Hawk Talk, so we certainly appreciate Lacey in Illinois. And you kind of look back at Ava Hayden and her ascent to where she is now, and it really kind of started just about this time last year, especially at the Big Ten tournament, and then continued into the NCAA tournament as well, and then had a terrific offseason, and just shows you how good she can be. And you kind of forget some of the younger players on this team because they have played a lot of basketball. You look at Ava Hayden just in her sophomore year, Taylor Stremlow as well. What a job she has done in the starting lineup. And then Journey Houston just in her freshman year, along with Addie Deal, and the roles that they've had to play all throughout this season, and have had some exceptional games. And so you get that youth, and then you also have that senior leadership out there as well, which has made for a fun season so far with the Hawkeyes 13-3 in the Big Ten Conference and tied with Michigan at number 2 behind undefeated UCLA. And there's just so many good teams in this league, 18 of them. You always forget about how many teams now are in the Big Ten. Coach, we get a couple more questions in here. Morgan and Dubuque, a pregame routine. When do you really get to the arena before the game starts? I know some are busier than others. I know yesterday was really busy.
Yeah, we had a lot of recruits yesterday. But typically we're in the arena because it's a night game, right? Because that's just a Thursday night. But we usually, I always do the board. Abby and I go in at an hour before. I get an interview with you, and I do the board and the strategy, and then we write all the things, the keys up. The team comes in with about 33 minutes left on the clock, and then they go back out, and they come back with about 11 minutes left on the clock, and then we give them a little chat, and then Abby, come over here, please, and then we have the tip-off. So, and I have a nice little energy drink, all healthy. Our managers make. Everybody wants to know what's in that cup. But that's my pregame routine, a little prayer before and all that. But that's how we roll. And now I'm going to introduce Abby Stamp, who has the best assistance with Mavis, her beautiful daughter, her awesome son, little Win, and every coach needs if we're married, we got a great spouse, and Quinn Stamp is a heck of an assistant. So she's got a great team. She's going to take over because my son plays for West High. Yep. Go West, first round of tournament. So here we go. Thank you all. God bless you, and I know you're going to enjoy Abby. She's one of the very best. Here you go.
Jan, thank you very much, and good luck to Jack and West High as postseason basketball in the high school ranks have started as well. And you can share a taste of Iowa tradition with the Eat Shop's famous cinnamon rolls and handmade pies. They're worth every bite. You can pre-order now at theeatshop.com. We'll be back and take a look with Abby on what's coming up this week with Illinois and the Wisconsin Badgers. More Hawk Talk presented by Oaknall. We are live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar from Learfield.
Our mission at Oaknall is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCullum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for nonstop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Remaining minutes of Hawk Talk tonight, presented by Oaknall, live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. We'll be right back here next Monday, wrapping up the regular season. And then the Hawks will head to Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament, which is always a fun time of year. Abby, we usually talk post-game, but it's fun. We've done a few of these shows together, right? You've filled in a few times over the years.
Yeah, I think over the years I have. I do have to just kind of mention that I don't think Jan really set me up for exactly what her plan was with me being here tonight. But
well, you got to do it on the fly sometimes,
got to do it on
right?
the fly, and that's what Jan does as a leader. She's done a great job with our team as well. That's why Callie Levine can hop into that game and be ready to step up and go. And we've had injuries and whatnot all season, and everybody, we're all always staying ready to go, and that's a mark of Jan's leadership, certainly. So happy to be here.
Absolutely. And we'll get to Illinois here in a couple of minutes. But Maddie from Dyersville, on that defense, what was it to hold Michigan to 44 points? This is a team that averages 87 points a game, and they just can score in bunches and couldn't even get to 50.
Right, absolutely. I mean, when you think they average 86 points a game and we held them to 44, that is an incredible stat. And our team has just done a really, really good job all year of buying into the defensive game plan and what we're trying to do. We really, in that 3-game stretch, California back to Minnesota, we really were disappointed in the defensive effort, the intensity, the focus, and just really challenged them to get that back. We made a couple of adjustments. Our staff, Sean, Coach Jay, Sean Sullivan, Coach Jensen, Coach Barrett kind of lead the defensive end, and they really challenged us to get out, a little bit more with Kylie and chit-chat and get some more pressure and denial. And certainly with that Michigan game, when you can really do that with some of those great scores and have somebody like Hannah in the paint to kind of help clean up anything that gets you backdoor or gets you beat when you're given that good denial, was a really, really good recipe for us. And then there's just no doubt that our defensive energy, a lot of it, really comes from our home crowd. And once we get those early stops and those early hustle plays, then we really build on that with our crowd, which is certainly what happened yesterday.
Trent and Waukon, messages at the half. What was it on Sunday? And I'm sure it varies, but how'd you feel, and what'd you talk to the team about?
Yeah, I think Sunday for sure we felt like the press didn't necessarily, there were a few times it turned us over early, but it didn't necessarily turn us over a lot. We were doing a lot of that. It was kind of self-inflicted in the quarter court, and we just weren't being aggressive and assertive to get into our offense. Our offense is a little unique in that it can start at the wing. You may kind of notice it starts on the side of the floor a lot of the times, and we were just hesitant to get ourselves there and get ourselves organized. So we really challenged the team. They weren't really doing all that much differently. The pressure that they were giving us wasn't anything different than we've seen all year. Certainly we've had a really tough schedule. We've challenged ourselves that way, and that helps prepare us this time of year. And I thought our team really responded to that. Well, there's not a whole lot of crazy X and O's you have to do. It just was, hey, let's get back to our stuff, how we run it, how we play together, and just be a little more assertive with what we're trying to do.
You spent some time as a staff and then address the team?
Yep, so we spent about the first 4 or 5 minutes with the staff. It's really organized how we try to get ourselves through it, and then we bring the team in and give them all those bullet points. And they, as a team, they do a really good job, I think, as well, too. Kylie Fierbach, Taylor Shemlo are our captains. We have a lot of great senior leadership. Taylor McCabe certainly still adds a lot, and Hannah as well. Jada as well. She can see things kind of differently, from the bench from that perspective. So they spend some time together really kind of talking about what they think needs to be done, and often they come in with some really good ideas as well.
Well, we'll spend a couple of minutes here on what is ahead for the Hawkeyes, Illinois on Thursday, Wisconsin on Sunday, and that is the Civco game plan as Precision matters most when your loved one is undergoing an invasive procedure. For over 40 years, Civco has been a trusted provider for image-guided procedures, counted on to deliver outstanding service and superior quality around the world. Civco Medical Solutions, making image-guided procedures safer. Final regular season game at Carver, hopefully not the final one of the year, and not an easy opponent. Illinois has been a program that has solidified themselves the last several years under Shauna Green, and this is a team that you certainly can't take lightly.
No, definitely not. And we met with the team today. You know, we come back and practice the next day after a game, and we met with them today, and that's definitely the message. This team is a very, very good, very capable basketball team. They are a little bit different in how they run their offense. They're really looking to dribble, drive, get into that paint, kind of turn the corners on you, not looking to shoot maybe as many threes as some of these teams we've played over the past few games. So they're going to be fast-paced. They're going to look to really get downhill. We're going to have to do a good job of containing the drive and staying out of foul trouble. That will be a huge key for us in this game as well. And yeah, Shauna Green, I mean, has like you said, done a great job. It's really interesting. She's from Iowa. I think there's 4 Division I basketball coaches in the top 25 that are from the state of Iowa. So
that tells you something. Right?
Yeah, just another great ode to this state and the women's basketball, the tradition that we have here and have continued to build upon and have success with here in the state of Iowa.
And you want to play well this week and start to roll into the postseason because it's going to happen fast now.
It does happen fast. I cannot believe we're here already, and certainly when you get to tournament time, you don't have much time to make changes or do a whole lot of anything else. You really rely on all of that work that you've done all season, all the prep you've had through the season, and most of all, you know, the camaraderie that you built, that team unit that you have, and we feel really good about where we're at right now.
Appreciate it, Abby.
Thanks, Rob.
Sliding in here. We'll see you Thursday.
You bet.
And coming up next, assistant coach Bryson Williams in for Ben McCullum, and freshman Trey Thompson will be aboard as well.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients. It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Go for the big Honda savings. Save thousands on the new Honda today with 0.99% financing. Go for the selection and inventory. Honda cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs are on sale. Get as low as 0.99% APR on a new 2025 Ridgeline. Go for the most Car and Driver 10 Best Awards with 98 trophies. Search your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details. Financing on credit approval offer ends 3/2/26.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Attention Hawkeye fans, Big Grove is proud to be an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Whether you're at the game or watching from home, Big Grove has got you covered. Enjoy an easy Eddie from the stands or visit them for every Hawkeye game at any of their 4 convenient Iowa locations in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, or Solon. Big Grove Brewery, your official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! Big Grove Brewery, an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Oak Knoll, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City community for 59 years. Also brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by your local Ford dealers. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.